All right, perfect. Let's get started. Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining me for today's webinar on public records requests with Laserfish Forms. This webinar is going to be recorded and will be available through our YouTube site following today's session. So, to start off, my name is Laura Froyam. I'm an account executive here at CDI. I have been with the team for about 12 years and have carried many positions within the firm. And so today, what we are going to take a look at is how Laserfish can help your team streamline your public records requests. What tools, Laserfish tools specifically, are required. And then we're going to jump into a live demo of the software in action and follow up with any questions anybody may have. So let's start with taking a look at a typical records request flow. As you can see here, the process can be kicked off a number of different ways, route to multiple different people depending on the type of request, who requested it, how the request came in. And then sometimes you have to incorporate payments into that. You have to keep your citizens notified or the requester notified. You have to send out email reminders to people so that they know, they have something that they have to take action on. And so it can just be a really cumbersome, hairy process to manage if you're not leveraging a tool like Laserfish. So let's talk about some of the challenges. So multiple types of incoming requests, how to deliver the records. How are we going to coordinate with the multiple departments? What about repeat requests? How can we manage that? And then keeping the requester informed. All of these things are items and topics that everybody struggles with when having to fulfill a public records request of any type. This is true for the government sector, education sector, all across the board. If you have somebody requesting information from you that you need to supply within a certain timely manner, it's just hard to manage. So let's take a look at how Laserfish can help you do that. So we saw that process earlier with all of those steps. Laserfish can help you manage every single one of those steps through automation. So the collection of the records request can be automated, the routing from department to department, the notification emails that are getting blasted out at any step of the process. All of that can be managed within Laserfish through its multiple components. So, what tools does that require? During today's demo, we are going to take a look at a process that is leveraging Laserfish Forms, Laserfish Workflow, WebLink or the public portal, records management, and then Forms portal. So if you're looking to automate automate your records management process or public records request process, any of those start items are optional. They are not requirements to collect information, route from department to department, and keep the process flowing. But if you're looking for a fully streamlined process that incorporates records retention on those documents that you're sending out, these tools would be required. So let's dig into each of those tools so that you know what's what. So Laserfish Forms. Laserfish Forms is a web application that allows you to collect, process, and route information. So this is a screenshot of the form that we're going to be looking at today. But essentially with Laserfish Forms, any paper form that you have now for collecting information can be converted to a Laserfish web form. So you can have drop down lists of information. You can have some fields be required as indicated here by the asterisks. You can set up specific formatting on any of your fields. You can have forms pre-populate based on information that's completed so the form can dynamically change with your users as they fill out information. And it's all just online. You go to a URL, and as long as you've got access to that URL, you can fill out the information and it submits to your team for processing from there. So there are a couple of different versions of forms depending on the platform that you have. And if you're not sure which level of forms you have, please reach out to the CDI team. We can help you identify that and help you get set up with whatever tools you need. So out of the box with most Laserfish platforms, including Avante, Rio, Subscription, and Cloud, you get Forms Essentials at minimum. Some of those platforms require you to add Forms Professional as an add-on. One of the main differences that we like to talk about with Forms Professional is that it has the ability to do database lookups to capture information, from a database like your Laserfish system or your accounting software or some other application. We can pull information in from those databases to do those drop-down lists to help you populate information. So if you're looking at getting some advanced functionality in your Forms, Forms Professional would be required. Otherwise, you can just do basic information collection and routing with Forms Essentials, and it does the trick. You'll also need Laserfish Workflow. Again, with most systems, Workflow is included. If you're on one of the older platforms of Laserfish, like Laserfish United, Workflow is an add-on to those systems. But essentially, Workflow is the glue that holds together an ECM solution. It helps you route tasks and send out notifications and populate documents, do mail merge type of actions. Really, anything that you can think of for routing your document and creating documents, Laserfish Workflow can help you achieve. The web link or public portal. A web link is a tool that essentially allows you to make certain areas of your Laserfish repository publicly accessible for read-only access. So we see some users set up the public portal for internal use only. So instead of having to provide a license to every single one of their staff members, they make just the information that should be available to those staff members available through the public portal. Otherwise, a lot of our public organizations use this web link or public portal to make information in their repository accessible so that citizens can navigate to their website and self-serve and try and find their own information. There's a lot of configuration options for WebLink. This is just, the base out of the box functionality here. But you can embed this directly into your website. You can set up customized searches so that it's really easy for your citizens to self-serve and find the information that you're, providing to them. So lots of customization options with your web link. Records management. So records management allows you to set up retention schedules on your documents. So again, for our public organizations that need to retain records and show proof that they are retaining records for a designated amount of time, records management can help you do that really easily. And with the latest versions of records management, version 10.4 and higher, if not even a little further back, has made this process even easier. You can essentially bring a document into your repository, apply a metadata field, and then have that push into the appropriate document retention schedule for that document type. So it makes it really easy to manage your records and stay organized for what can be purged from the system at any time. And then we have the Laserfish Forms portal. So Forms portal is optional, and this is what allows you to make those Laserfish forms publicly accessible. So Forms portal doesn't offer you any additional configuration options outside of what Forms extends. It just allows you the ability to make a form publicly accessible to anybody outside of your network. So if you send them the URL or they get access to the URL, they can submit that information to your team for, routing and approval. So for organizations that don't have Forms portal, that are still looking for a way to automate their public records requests, you can certainly skip this step. And when a records request comes to you, your records clerk or whoever receives the request can fill out that Laserfish form and start the routing process internally. So again, with Laserfish and all of the tools, there's lots of ways to configure each process. And what we're going to take a look at next is just one example. So let's dig into a demo. So we're going to start this process off with a Laserfiche form. So again, this form can be configured to, be embedded directly into your website. If you've got that forms portal, you can change the colors, you can change the logos, the text, and any of the information being collected. Additionally, within this particular scenario, we have it pulled and connected with the database so that, if a citizen were to fill out a public records request, they can identify whether they are a returning customer or not. And then if they type in their password, we can have that autofill the form. Let me see if I can remember my password. Autofill. Well, essentially, there, it just took a minute. It pulls back into my database and populates all of that information for my requester, as long as they maintain their password. But in this scenario, I'm not going to be a returning customer. I don't really want to create an account. I'm just going to submit a new request. So we're going to have this filled out from Jessica. I'm going to type in my email address so I get the notifications. Again, we can have drop-down lists so they can identify how they would prefer to receive their records request. We're going to indicate via email. And then you can have, different drop-downs for types of documents that they can request to help them narrow down and identify, what they can get and cannot get from your team. So we've got it pre-populated here. We want all closed door sessions from 2021. You can even set up your form to have those requesters upload documentation to you. So if they've got a file and they're searching for something, similar to it, they can certainly click the upload button, navigate their computer, and attach a document. Otherwise, they can just drag and drop into this file upload field and then have that push over to your team for approval. And then from here, you can incorporate an electronic signature, so they can certainly go ahead and just sign the form, basically maybe verifying that, they're not a corporation and, they're not going to reuse your information, something like that. So I'm going to go ahead and sign that. And again, everything you see here is completely customizable, so if you want to collect more or less information, you can do so. If you want to make certain fields required, you can certainly do that. And that way you're always ensuring, again, that you're getting the minimal amount of information you need to keep the process flowing. So we're going to go ahead and submit this. And once it's submitted, what's going to happen is an email notification could kick off to the citizen, letting them know, okay, we've received a copy of your submission. And then some email notifications can go to your staff internally, notifying you that you've got a new records request that needs to be filled. So again, many options with Laserfiche to send out alerts to any person or anybody that's part of this process. You can even customize this splash page. So again, if you're using the forms portal, or if you're just using forms in general, once a form is submitted, you have the ability to customize the splash page. So again, if you have to adhere to certain regulation and guidelines by either federal or your specific state, you can say, okay, your data request has been submitted. We'll get back to you within so many days to let you know whether or not this request can be fulfilled, and then your timeline can start from there. So your citizen has the ability to download, or your team if you want them to. So we're going to jump into our forms task box. I'm going to here just do a quick refresh. And we should see our task within our task box. So this is Laserfiche Forms. If you haven't seen it before, we use this for a lot of task management. So again, something happens, it kicks off a task, you get notified maybe via email. That email has a link that brings you directly to your task, or you come into your task box. You can also have tasks assigned to teams. So if you have a group of users who need to be assigned, this records request, maybe the finance department, it could be assigned to the finance department, not specifically a specific person, and then they can assign it to themselves and take action and follow up from there. So here our records request is going to our records clerk. They're going to go ahead and take a look at the submission, make sure everything looks good, make sure that this is something that we can fulfill. Has it been fulfilled before? Yes or no? I'm going to show you a little bit later how you can search within the repository for whether a request has been fulfilled before or not. So here our clerk is going to assign this out to the city clerk as well as finance. So this is something that can get fulfilled. Maybe at this point that email notification is going out to your submitter or your citizen, letting them know, all right, we've received your information. We can fulfill this request, and that's when your timeline starts. So then finance and the city clerk get a notification saying, oh, you've got a public records request. Now, because I'm in a demo environment, I'm getting both of the tasks assigned to me. But again, it could be assigned to the team or it would be assigned to that specific individual user. So finance can come in, take a look at the form. All right, I am estimating that this is going to take me 2 hours to fulfill. All right, and then I push that out. And then the city clerk has a chance to update their information as well. So I think that this is going to take me 1 hour to fulfill. So then they've both had a chance to review and identify, how much time they think it will take them to fulfill the request. And we can see here that with forms, it had the ability to calculate the total cost estimate for us. So I'm going to go ahead and click review. And now what is going to happen is the FOIA clerk is going to get another request, or the records clerk is going to get another request here that just notifies them essentially that they are and need to wait for the payment. Simultaneous to this, our citizen or the original submitter received an email notification. So, dear Jessica Welsh, thank you for your request. Your request was submitted and this time has been evaluated and the invoice is attached. So again, you may not require a payment as part of your records request, but this is just an idea of what Laserfiche is capable of. So here, attached is a PDF document that Workflow generated for us. So it just automatically appended a invoice number for us based on a standard numerical organization. And then we've got this on our invoice template, and it grabbed the information that the clerk and finance identified and sends it out to our citizen to make payment. The citizen has the ability to go ahead and pay. So if you have Laserfiche Forms Professional, this is another differentiator from Essentials to Professional. But you have the ability to incorporate payments within your Forms application. So here it just brings them to the payment gateway. Again, you have the ability to customize all of this information. And based on that original forms process, it identified the total and populated that all in here. So this forms payment piece is integrated with Authorize.net or Braintree as the merchant providers. And if you are using a merchant provider outside of that, I do know that Authorize.net has a connector utility that allows you to maintain your existing merchant provider, but leverage this interface with Laserfiche Forms so that you can collect payments as part of your process. So we're going to go ahead and just click PayPal. I'm just going to proceed with the sandbox purchase. Can't remember the credit card number. And we're going to go ahead and submit. Confirm. So then at that point, once the citizen submits the payment, then our clerk is going to get notified and they can go ahead and indicate that the payment has been received. So they click that the payment has been received, and then our departments get notified and they can go ahead and start adding documents into the records request folder that was automatically created in Laserfiche. So again, when that public records request was automatically submitted, workflow behind the scenes created that request folder for us. So here I am in my Laserfiche repository. I am using the web version of Laserfiche. So some of you may be familiar with the desktop. This is just the web version. I'm going to search by creation date, and we can see here today created at 1:17, so a little bit ago, was our records request folder. And again, the naming convention is indicated by, whatever we want it to be, standardized. And if we log into it, we can see the public request form and the invoice payment, or the invoice that was sent out to the end user. So I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to add some additional documents in here from my desktop. It can be something that maybe you import by dragging and dropping from another Laserfiche folder or copying and pasting. You've got a lot of options for just adding the content into the folder within Laserfiche. We're just going to add that jet. And then I do not want to open it. Then I'm just going to X out of here. So once all of the information is added into the Laserfiche forms, our departments have signified that they've fulfilled their records request. An email is going to go out to our citizen notifying them that your request has been fulfilled. So I'm going to go ahead and open that up. So here we go. Again, Laserfiche allows you the ability to customize your emails. You can customize the language, you can customize links, whatever you want within it. So I'm going to go ahead and just click this web link URL, which brings me directly to that public facing folder through the public portal, directly to my records requests, and then from there I can take a look at the documents. So if I click here, I can view the preview. I can switch between the documents and just see the preview. So here's what was fulfilled. And then again, I can see a copy of the original submission. You can set it up so that this web link is only available to the submitter or the requester for a designated amount of time. So maybe after 30 days, this link will no longer be available to them, in which case they could go through and resubmit the form and request that information from you. So if I jump back into my repository, as a user, access, I wanted to show you how you can search to see whether that records request has been fulfilled or not. So again, the Laserfiche search capabilities are endless. You can do the Boolean searches, you can do if-then searches, you can do text searching, all of those types of things. But we can also search across the metadata fields. Now, when this form submission came through, all of the fields that were filled out can be pushed into your Laserfiche system as metadata. So here we're going to search for all sessions from 2021. And I'm going to close out of some of these extra things, and I don't have it on a field, but you can have it as part of your fields, or we can go ahead and just choose a specific field to search across. Records request doc type, I believe, is the field that we are searching for. So then I can go ahead and just Control-C, Control-V, put that in there. You can look within a certain date range. I'm just going to take that off. And then click search. And so our search is, oh, it didn't, that's not the right field name. Let's go back to our folders, identify what that field name is, because I can't remember. Records request doc type, closed door session. Advanced search. So here it's pulling back all of the results for public records requests for that specific document type. So again, based on what's submitted in that form, you have the ability to search across the repository and across the fields to see if that records request has been fulfilled before to help streamline your process. Additionally, as part of this records process that we have in our system, as you can see here, we've got these little records folder icons, which means that the records request was automatically pushed into our records retention and records schedule for that particular document type and that request. All automatically. So I didn't have to do any of that myself, just based on workflow and the information that is coming to me. The system identifies in the background what needs to happen automatically. So that concludes the demo. And so now I just kind of want to open it up for questions. Does anybody have any questions that I can help address? Feel free to either type them in the box or raise your hand, and I can unmute you and address any questions that pop up. All right, doesn't look like we're getting any questions quite yet. So what I want to show you again, just quick, I wait another minute for any questions to trickle in. I did want to point out again, if you haven't gone to our customer portal, you should log in. We've got some upcoming trainings. This is today's webinar. But coming up on April 6th, we've got our free training Tuesday on Laserfiche forms, and you can see all of the other upcoming free trainings. The additional webinars for next month will get popped in here pretty quick as well, so you'll be able to take advantage and sign up for those, although webinars are definitely available through our website. But any of the free trainings are through our portal. If you're not sure how to get access to the portal, please definitely let me know. I do have a question. Will these slides be sent out later? The slides will be available through the recorded demonstration that will be available on our website. And I can take note of your information here and ensure that you get notified of it if it doesn't automatically do that. I think the webinar might let you know once it's already out and available. Perfect. Well, if there aren't any additional questions, I appreciate everybody's time today. And as always, if you have any questions or you need anything, please don't hesitate to reach out to your Cities Digital or CDI account manager or sales@cdi.support, and we'll assist you. Thanks, everyone. Bye.